do that. No break? You don't? I'm fine, Jerry. I mean, I'm fine. If you don't need a coffee, buddy, that's okay. All right, let's go with this. I mentioned earlier in the show, my family has been touched directly with Parkinson's disease. I have seen this disease firsthand. Our next guest is not only living with Parkinson, he is writing about it. He points out that, yes, when it struck a famous actor in the prime of his life, Parkinson's disease was pushed onto the front burner of the public consciousness. Since then, though, we've seen debates over treatments. You've seen the debates around the stem cell research. The fight goes on to find a cure for this. Bill Schmalfelt is the author of Put My Parky Face On. Bill, good morning.
Good morning to you, Brian.
Bill,
and can I start with? Let me start with a question first,
sure,
because I used to do radio talk shows myself. I'm intrigued by the conversation you had with the boot lady. Now, I wear a size 12. Does that mean I should go for a 13 and just try to get a little extra warmth for my toes?
I think you should go for a canoe if you're wearing that size, Bill.
Actually, Bill,
yeah.
If you don't mind my comment, a canoe. Take a walk, long dock. What I would recommend for you to do, especially with Parkinson's, and it has very specific gait problems, as you know.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, really. I won't tell you about it, but I would love to share some comments, or I'd love to hear some comments from you about it. Anyways, your shoes, do they have removable guts? Are the footbeds removable?
Yes.
Okay, so if you don't mind, take one out.
Okay.
I'm waiting.
Oh no, I'm actually laying in bed right now talking to you in my pajamas and socks.
Wow.
Where else should I be?
Well, I can't make a living there.
I've never seen a picture of you.
So Bill takes. Oh, she's cute. Bill. So what if Bill takes the insides out of one shoe, the bottom.
Yes, take the guts out and take a look. And what I want to do is I like to count 5 distinct toes. And I don't mean 5 distinct toes crammed at the end of the shoe where they have to be pushed backwards. I mean, I clearly want to count 5 little toe pads.
What if I have 7?
Well, then you have polydactylism, and then you better make sure you have a shoe that accommodates for that, because that is not as uncommon as what you think it is.
I sure do love talking to a chiropodist.
Well, I'm glad that you've got a wonderful sense of humor, too.
Bill, yeah, that's the amazing.
Serious here now.
Yeah, okay, well, Bill, that's the amazing thing, though, because you obviously have a sense of humor as you deal with this.
Yeah, one of the most common comments I hear from folks who read my writing is, how can you be so funny about such a serious topic? And my standard answer is, give me an alternative. I mean, you can either sit and feel glum about it, which isn't going to make anything any better anyway, or you can try to find the sunny side. There's a chapter in my book, Put On Your Parky Face, about the upside of Parkinson's disease. There's the mystery. It's like living in a circus. You never know how you're going to be one day to the next. You can make people guess how you're feeling because you sit there with that Parky, they call it Parkinson's masking. And when you see the cover of my book, you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about. It's just a blank, expressionless face. You can be happy as a clam in a mud puddle, but your face doesn't show it. So either you have a sense of humor about it, or you're a glum Gus and you bring everybody else around you down, and then maybe your caretaker decides it's best just to let you die, and
Bill, how did you deal with this? I mean, how when you first got this disease, Parkinson's, how did it strike you, and how did you deal with it initially?
Well, at first, it was finding a doctor who would diagnose it was the fun part. Everybody I went to at first said, "Oh, you're too young. Yeah, I was 45 at the time. You're too young to have Parkinson's. And to one doctor, I said, well, what about Michael J. Fox? He's diagnosed, and the doctor said, well, that's got to be an extraordinary case. Did hearing about Michael J. Fox make you think you had it too? And I finally saw a movement disorder specialist in Miami who was one of the top-notch guys who diagnosed me and gave me these words I live by. Parkinson's disease is not a death sentence. It's a life sentence. You'll have it until the day you die. You don't die of Parkinson's, you die with it. But to answer your question, Brian, for the first 6 or 7 years, it was more of just a concept for me. I thought, okay, I have hazel eyes, I lost most of my hair, and I have Parkinson's disease. It wasn't until the symptoms progressed, as they always will in Parkinson's, that I began to take it seriously. And I got involved in a phase 1 clinical trial at Vanderbilt University Medical Center, testing the safety and tolerability of deep brain stimulation in the early stages of Parkinson's. I'm one of 15 people in the world who has had DBS at that early of a stage of Parkinson's.
How did that work out for you?
I tell you what, the DBS deals with the same symptoms that the levodopa does. For instance, if levodopa will handle a symptom like tremor, which I've never really had.
Which, and levodopa is a drug you take, right? Just to make that clear.
I take Stalevo, which is a combination of levodopa, carbidopa, and entacapone, which helps spread out the delivery of the L-dopa throughout the day. Where was I?
So I asked you about how did the deep brain stimulation work, and you say,
right.
Yeah, it treats the same thing as levodopa.
Yeah, the DBS does wonders for the things that levodopa can control. I don't have to take as much levodopa anymore, and I can still maintain some fluidity in my hand motions. I'm not as rigid as I would be without it. But there are areas that levodopa can't help in Parkinson's disease, such as postural instability, and I fall down a lot, such as gait. And your Tropidus friend brought that up earlier.
So you're shuffling. You have the shuffling gait.
A small shuffling gait.
Unless I really force myself, when I walk, what I want to do is bend over and take tiny shuffling steps. So I have to do what my wife calls take big boy steps. I have to stand up straight and consciously make the effort to put one foot in front of the other, and just keep going. Because if you just stop working at it, then it becomes habit, and next thing you know, you're the Tim Conway character on the old Carol Burnett show.
But how about the arm swing? Do you
that
have to work?
That was one of the first things they noticed when they diagnosed me, is that I didn't have a right arm swing. And I still don't have much of that, but when I'm out walking, generally I don't ever go out by myself. I gave up driving a bit more than a year ago. And my wife accompanies me everywhere, watching me like a mama duck watches her baby. And I generally use one of those rolling walkers when I'm out, so there's no arm swing involved there at all.
Do you have to bend down to your walker, or does your walker come up high enough that
It comes up to me.
Good. I like that.
Yep, I've got it just above belt level, so I can grab them handles and not have to bend over.
I like that. I
and
will.
In the house, when I use a cane, I also have that cane up, to where I don't have to bend over to use it.
That's great. You guys generally make great dancing partners, because my husband likes to take those long sweeping steps, and I have short, fat little legs. And with Parkinson's, with the nice small little steps, I can keep up.